I had a weird experience a week or so ago. I'm not sure why this happened, but I hallucinated and saw something around 6 feet with the skull of a deer, slightly hunched back, feathery shoulders, and its body was partially made of straw, flesh and bone. It zipped towards me and covered about 15 feet in less than a second, and it triggered my flight or fight response and made me run inside screaming. Anyone else experienced anything like this before? It was a one-time thing, and I still can't stop thinking about how bizarre it was and the fact it made me feel true fear for the first time in my life. I have no history of things like this happening, and I've been exploring at various venues as to what the cause may be. If anyone has any ideas of what happened or similar experiences, I'd love to hear them. This is an experience that I've wondered about for a long time. When I was a kid, about 5 or 6 years old, I was really afraid of what might be under the bed. My parents knew this and rationally told me to look under the bed so I could see that there was nothing there. Anyways, one day I decided to look under the bed, and sure enough, there was nothing there. But then I looked into the air vent under my bed. Inside of it, I saw a terrible, pale white face and bright red hair staring back at me with his eyes wide open. I ran away as fast as I could. It took me years to not feel uncomfortable whenever I was getting onto my bed. I would always run and jump onto my bed in case it was there watching. To this day, I still believe that I saw something, as it was incredibly vivid. So I post here a lot about my new apartment, me and my boyfriend's other house, and my parents' house growing up. I just found out I'm pregnant, fairly far along, and it's high risk. I spent a huge majority of today, from 2 p.m. until about 15 minutes ago, vomiting and retching heavily. The entire time, I was like the house was alive and going completely insane. There was stomping footsteps. We're on the top floor. Shit being thrown heavily into my closet, loud voices, etc. I think I may have captured some of it, and when I'm done hugging the toilet seat, I'll listen and watch what I think I caught to see if it shows, at very least, the howling. The other units had to have heard it. When my boyfriend gets home, I'm going to have him go ask if they heard really strange noises coming from our unit today. I'll keep you updated. I do not believe in ghosts or the paranormal. I've never experienced it. I've always been able to debunk it. I'm extremely hesitant to even admit this because I don't believe what's happening to myself. But lately I get pretty spooked in my apartment. I don't know what it is, but there must be a rational explanation, right? Whenever I would enter a room or turn on a light, I would see a black thing scurry and hide. I thought maybe it was an animal, a bug, or some dog fur, since my dogs have been shedding like crazy. But whenever I search for it or try to focus my eyes on it when I see it moving, it's just gone. The closest thing I compare it to is the soot sprites from my neighbor Tatora. This went on for weeks before I mentioned it to my partner. They stopped and immediately looked at me to see if I was joking. They are a big believer in the paranormal, but knows how I feel about it. So they didn't often admit their experiences to me. But I came to them with this, and they were shocked. They've been seeing it too. They described exactly what I've been seeing. We've lived in the apartment for 2 years now, and only recently we started seeing this. It's freaking me out, but there must be a logical explanation, right? I was also in the bathroom last week, and clear as day I heard my partner outside the door, and he called me. I called back asking what they wanted, but suddenly they were much farther away and sounded confused. They had been in the bedroom the whole time and hadn't heard anything, nor did they call me at all. Thus, could have been the TV, even though it was closer, louder than the TV. I don't know. Since that experience, we have a cat toy that we bought months ago, but the sound was broken and hasn't made a single sound. All of a sudden, no movement, no touching it. It started this garbled noise non-stop for the past week. It won't stop making this noise, and nothing even triggered it. Please explain this to me. So this just occurred, and I'm a little creeped out. To preface, my husband and I just moved from Georgia to a small historic town in the northeast Virginia for a job transfer. To give some background, we're roughly 5 minutes away from several Civil War sites, Wilderness Battle, Elwood Manor, Payne's Farm, etc. The area is also one of the first German settlements and was previously inhabited by the Manahoac prior to the colonization. We've lived here for a couple months now, and I've always been a little spooked by both historical sites and woods. The first, because my historical sites have a very negative connections, and the second, because all the folklore surrounding wooded areas. I'd started to relax after having no paranormal unexplained things occur until just now. It's about 1 a.m. I'm a terrible sleeper and always get the weirdest burst of energy at the oddest hours. So even though my husband and dogs are completely knocked out, I decided to get out of bed and grab my phone. I looked out one of the windows. We have a great view of the sky, and I love looking at the stars and see this somewhat dim light floating around in the woods. Me being me, at first I thought it was maybe just a trick of my eyesight, as it's basically pitch black outside, other than our neighbor's house light way off in the distance. They are roughly a mile down the gravel road running by our house. But after watching it for 5 minutes, I came to the realization that it was doing these small circular movements and kind of a zigzag, best word I can explain, a little back and forth. I also noticed that even though it was quite a ways away from me, probably at least a quarter mile into the woods, it would have had to be at least 2 floors off the ground, as I was actually looking straight at it through the woods from the 2nd floor of my house. It kept doing that for about 10 minutes before vanishing. Anyone have any ideas of what this could be? A few days ago, my little brother had a school concert. I was asked to go but declined so I could finish my painting. I'm in my room, in my own world, listening some stand-up while painting, and can hear someone in the living room making tons of noise. I think nothing of it. My family's loud. I go get a drink out of the fridge and see nobody in the living room. I get my drink while I wonder who else had stayed home with me, but didn't check. I'm back in my room, and a few minutes later, someone again is going nuts in the living room, and now I'm concerned. I grab my knife as I was suspicious someone may have even broken in and head into the living room. Nobody's there. I check every room in the house, and I'm the only one home and everything's locked up. I refuse to believe it's anything strange and go back to my room. A half hour or so passes when I hear keys jingle and assume everyone's home now, so I go out to greet them. And there's no one. I'm back in my room struggling to explain what I'm hearing when clear as day and loud enough to make me jump. I hear one knock on my door. Scared as shit, I didn't leave the room till my family got home and still have no idea what I was hearing.